Now, Milwaukee was rocked by these storms, and that happened last night. We were there every step of the way, kind of watching this, and at times we jump in to our affiliate there. You'll notice that the temperatures are mild, but they were warm last night. And we caught the tail end of when Fox 6 Milwaukee's moments that they were under a tornado warning, and they had to take shelter in the station's basement. Take a listen to this.
Good news. All right, so the tornado warning is canceled. Hey, Fox 6, we can go back upstairs. So thanks for it. Kale Zimney, excellent job. Thank you very much for setting this up. We may have to come back down here later.
Yeah,
we don't
very
know.
well.
Now, Fox 6 managed to stay on air during that event, which is really impressive as you talk about still practicing what you're preaching and keeping people safe. Joining us tonight, the man leading the way in a lot of that, Fox 6 Milwaukee Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks himself. Tom, I mean, your entire crew, that was a wild night last night. Great job. Walk us through those moments, though, that was when that was unfolding.
Hey, Steve, well, thank you. Great to be with you. Steve, this has been a wild weather pattern. I mean, even from Central Plains standards, I used to work in Kansas, and this is even wilder than some of the days that I worked in Tornado Alley. And here we are in Milwaukee. So last night, we had a tornado warning. In fact, a confirmed tornado that was an EF2 tornado not far to our west. So we were watching that cell. It was a supercell with monster hail with it at the time, and it was moving east towards us. So just a few hours before this happened, we had actually had our crew here build us a little studio in our basement. I mean, it was literally brand new and built down there in a matter of hours. And the page went out and we said, look, we got to get everybody downstairs because this thing is heading in our direction. And so this tornado in the town of Lisbon, Wisconsin, was rated an EF2. It was on the ground for 6 miles with maximum winds of 120 miles per hour. Now, just east of where this lifted is a town called Menominee Falls. It is a very populated area. An interstate runs right through it. So they got very lucky, and we are just a few miles to the east of there. So take a look at this. This is wild. So you're going to see the shelf cloud. This is from our rooftop. Just incredible here to see. So what happened, I'll give you more of the science, Steve, behind this, is that it was a tornado at first, so it was a supercellular tornado, but then it became outflow dominant, meaning that you had more downburst winds. And that's what created that shelf cloud. And look at that. So you can now see, right, why we ended up going to the basement. And literally, our entire staff here at Fox 6 in Milwaukee took shelter in the basement, and because of our great crew, we were able to stay on air, giving our viewers that critical messaging as to what was going on. We're on the north side of Milwaukee when this came on through here. That's where we are located. But I also want to give a shout out, Steve, to our friend Ian Leonard, chief meteorologist at Fox 9 in Minneapolis. We had discussions with him that if we lost power, or if we got hit by a tornado, he would take over, and our friends at Fox 9 in Minneapolis would take over our coverage for here in Milwaukee to keep our viewers posted. So you talk about a great team effort here, and here we all were in the basement last night for a time as these nasty storms rolled through.
Just shows you how impressive the Fox family is, being able to coordinate, of course, with Ian Leonard there in Minneapolis. And you mentioned Menominee Falls. They had the large hail reports that kept coming in, numerous of those. And we just see how intense this storm setup has been for much of the Midwest and the Great Lakes. Something I want to ask you about, of course, Tom, is the flooding aspect of this, because we talk about the amount of rain one day after another, You hear in the Badger State rivers, major flood stage. What's the concern for you, not only in Milwaukee, but in your northern viewership area and just northern Wisconsin in general?
Yeah, very high. The Green Bay area, for example, a lot of flooding. I had water in my basement when I got home late last night because there's just the sheer amount of water that is falling here. I mean, we have had more rain in the month of April so far in Milwaukee than we typically get in an entire month. So that puts it into perspective here. We had water rescues that were ongoing last night in the Milwaukee area, also just down the street from our television station, with roads that you're seeing there completely covered. So that's going to be probably the main concern here over the next couple of days because, Steve, As you know, this pattern is not going to end until we get into the weekend. And, really the repetition, the frequency of these storms, really rare for the month of April, let alone in the upper Midwest. Usually our peak severe weather season is June to August up here. So this is something that is rare for us. And then, of course, the amount of moisture that we have and we're going to continue to have for the next couple of days.
Tom, I know you got a busy night tonight, so thank you for spending some time. But I do want to ask you real quickly about what you alluded to, the rarity of this, and then Friday, your insight, because this could be the most volatile day because a big, powerful low coming out of the Rockies and the Midwest and your region back in that again. Can you kind of give us a sense of what you're preparing for come Friday?
Sure. So, we're all options are on the table again, right? It's kind of like rinse and repeat for us at this point almost every day. But you're right. The lift is going to be better on Friday, and there's already an enhanced or level 3 risk in effect for areas to our west, places like Iowa into western Wisconsin and those areas for a big squall line. And so the question will be, do we see storms pop ahead of the squall line? What happens with that line of storms? So this is really going to be something that we need to watch. So, we've got tonight's threat, and then we have Friday night's threat before the big pattern change. And Steve, I've kind of been joking with our viewers that by Sunday, we're going to be in the 40s for highs, and I've never looked forward to that more than a quiet stretch of weather on the way.
Yes, and you've earned a nice maybe sit on the patio, enjoy a warm cup of coffee come Sunday morning, because it has been a very active cycle, Tom. As I had mentioned, I know you're busy tonight. Thank you for spending time with us and kind of unpacking everything that's been happening there in Milwaukee and, of course, the Badger State. That is Chief Meteorologist out of FOX6 Milwaukee, Tom Walks, joining us as well. Thanks
so much, Steve.